Point of order.
We've asked that we use...
Oh, so wait. They're covered. You feel uncomfortable? Because that's what these young girls feel like when a boy walks into the locker room and starts unchanging in front of them. Yeah, you feel uncomfortable, right?
Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and this man just lays it all on the line, calling out the ridiculousness of having men and women's sports. And oh boy, is this going to be a rabbit hole. Let's dive in.
Point of order.
We've asked that we use...
Oh, so wait. They're covered. You feel uncomfortable? Because that's what these young girls feel like when a boy walks into the locker room and starts unchanging in front of them. Yeah, you feel uncomfortable, right? Feel uncomfortable, huh? That's what these young girls feel like every time a young boy changes in front of them. You can look at me like that all you want. That's exactly how they feel. And you, Miss Muffy, oh, well, I don't know if I stand with girls or if I stand with my, with the... So you don't care how young girls feel? You don't care about the safety of young kids? What about what happened in Virginia with that boy that raped a young girl in a bathroom, then got sent to another school and did it again? What are we going to do when that happens here? How are you going to look that girl in the face and say, sorry, I didn't protect you? This is Maine's capital. We should be setting an example for the rest of the state. You know what example you guys are setting? That we do not care about the young girls in this state. You guys care about politics. Oh, we can't change it because it's not law. It got changed by an executive order by Biden, which is why we're here in the first place.
Don't let this man cook, all right? For a couple of ladies to change in front of an entire city council and remind them, or school board meeting, sorry, showing them, hey, this is ridiculous. This does not make any sense. We're going to make you uncomfortable. This is the kind of activism I want to see from fellow Republicans and conservatives, and you can tell which side this guy's on. He's got a 47 hat on, and he's also got what seems to be a Turning Point USA sweater, because I recognize the arrow there. This dude is doing something incredible with his time, and you want to know what the response is from the Democrats? Shock, awe, and denial. That's what they love to do. They love to deflect and deny, or in this case, double down. This is what their own governor had to say about not the situation, but the idea of men changing in women's bathrooms. This is from the Democrat governor of the state of Maine. Mills' comment referred to Maine's legal challenge to Trump's executive order barring transgender athletes from school sports. She publicly resisted pressure from the president during an audience with him and other governors in February.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with the state and federal laws.
Well, we are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
Translation: this woman has decided that she is going to be the great crusader and basically bring up the old John C. Calhoun nullification crisis. She's trying to nullify federal orders. Now, I love standing up to tyrants. That's always a good thing. The tyrants that we have in this nation aren't in the White House. At least not right now. The tyrants that we keep seeing aren't all in the halls of Congress. There's a couple of tyrant wannabes. There always will be. And it will be on both sides, by the way. I'm willing to police my own side. But the tyrants I keep seeing are these ridiculous school boards, governors going out of control, Entire cities in revolt, and judges telling the president, hey, you technically can't do what Congress has allowed you to do, despite the fact that the Supreme Court, on numerous occasions now, back during the 70s when Nixon was trying to rid us of communists yet again, the Supreme Court had to say, listen guys, you can't go after him when he's doing the stuff that you've allowed him to do based on your laws. Get your act together. Get the Constitution together. Get it properly. Instead, we now have a whole subset of politicians running around thinking that they are going to be the ones that stands up against tyranny by becoming tyrants themselves. As a Southern boy, who until the age of 6 thought the Confederacy was a good thing, remember, I had to be a child in order to believe that. I don't as an adult. But as an adult, I'm also smart enough to recognize what tyranny looks like, where it comes from. And it comes from these school boards that won't stand up for children. It comes from these panelists and governors that think that they're standing up against the, idea that men and women are different. This is a Maoist-style attempt to completely change our culture. But you know what? We've got to go one step deeper into this rabbit hole. We've got to ask why. Why are Democrats like this? Why are they talking like this? Well, as it turns out from the same PBS article, the National Democrats see Maine as an important target. It is the only place on the 2026 Senate election map where Republicans are defending a seat in a state carried last year by Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris. In other words, Susan Collins, which I don't want to glorify Susan Collins. I'm appreciative of her. I would rather have someone that votes with Republicans about 70% of the time than someone who votes with them 5% of the time. Okay? I'd rather have the 70 than the 7. But Susan Collins is going to have a primary challenger. Oh, and by the way, when it comes to these primary challengers, guess who is the best one to likely take her on? It's the current sitting Governor Mills. She is out there spreading her wings, trying to get as much attention as possible, and show that she is truly the compassionate one who can stand up to that big meanie Trump. But you know what? I think the story has one step further. It goes one step deeper. Follow me on this one, okay? When finding out the truth, you always have to ask yourself, why? All right? And you got to keep digging as to why. Why do Democrats think like this? How did they get to this point to begin with? Because it gets even crazier. Follow me for this one. There's another guy running for Senate in Maine. Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner disavowed since deleted posts he made on Reddit years ago in which he called police officers, I can't say that, described himself as a communist, and insulted some Reddit users as, I can't say that either, telling CNN that was very much me messing around the internet. Yeah, this quote, by the way, is from The Hill. This is where Democrats mostly are at now. And when I say mostly, I mean about 30% of them. Graham Plattner is a military guy and is an absolute tragedy. He is. He needs to be looked at as a tragedy. And I've met a whole lot of people like him. These are men that have conquered their own masculinity and caged their own rage and animal side. And I mean that in the very truest sense of the word. That's when you basically become a man. And that's a lesson I had to learn a lot longer ahead in my time. Sorry, a lot later in life than a whole lot of folks out there. This dude is a full-blown communist, has admitted to it, and he's running for Senate in Maine as a Democrat. And he thinks that he's doing the right thing because he thinks that's the best way to protect people. That masculine urge to protect and care. And it's the biggest tragedy you can possibly fall into. And this is the trap that so many Democrats fall into in their line of thinking. What ends up happening is they think they're protecting people's rights, when instead they are just allowing the worst kinds of people to abuse a system. They think that they are out there ensuring that there's no more crazy evangelicals running around throwing a Bible at you, which there aren't. They haven't been for 15 years. But the young people are growing up and realizing, oh, that's why we had religion. That's why we had the guardrails. And the Democrats are beginning to learn that lesson the hard way. So, what we have in this video is essentially one man and a couple of ladies who are unusually brave. I don't like this style of protesting, but it moves the needle and proves a point. So I'm willing to let it work. Ultimately, I'm okay with protesting like this because it makes everyone uncomfortable in the right sense of the word, because it shows how absurd the Democrats have become. Governor Mills is out there saying that, oh, I support people using the wrong bathrooms and abusing the system. And it's a good thing. It makes me compassionate. And I'll stand up to the president. Okay, honey. Okay. But then you keep going down the rabbit hole and you realize that it goes one step deeper. And that Democrat men think that they are protecting people. They're not. They are enabling the worst. And that is a tragedy of epic proportions, in my opinion. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibro. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.